On this week's episode of Aftershock, Issa has her friends compete to draw some cartoon characters.
Bianca shows us how to do a snickerdoodle mug cake.
And Eric gets students' and teachers' opinions on the reopening. What's up, Cypress Bay? I'm Michael Orlando.
And I'm Kimberly Blum.
And Aftershock starts now. It's always wonderful to see a band coming back together.
You mean like One Direction?
Here's Rodrigo with the story of a Weston band coming back together.
As social distancing is forcing many bands to take a rest, one group has been working together on connecting all sorts of music players.
As a musician, I'd always felt like Weston was really lacking in music scene, and I was always kind of bummed out by that. But I knew there was people in the community who did music. I just never knew how to reach out to them. So back in July, end of July, I decided to kind of take it into my own hands and make it a community thing, because I just wanted musicians to be able to connect and get to know each other and kind of bring out the music scene that Weston could have.
Well, I think the group as a whole has been, such a great thing, because it's been, a community of musicians, and we're all good friends and stuff. So it's been a lot of fun to work with them and plan out all these events. And, it got me a chance to perform during the pandemic, which was, unexpected and was great.
Although organizing and managing events is complicated while quarantined, things have been slowly picking back up for the CMG.
When we hosted our first event, the open mic, which was socially distanced and everyone was wearing masks, we had such a great turnout that really none of us were expecting. We were kind of shooting in the dark. We were like, we don't know if people are going to come to this, but we're just going to put it on and hopefully people do. And it was just great seeing people enjoying music in a live setting after so many months of not having that. And I myself am a musician and I love to perform. So performing after all these months was really an amazing feeling. And I think it also gave people kind of a distraction from everything that's going on.
The group chat so far, like the group we started making, and it's very new, but it has potential. Like we're already talking about, collaborations and stuff. So it's a great opportunity.
While times might be complicated, these dedicated musicians will band together and keep their love for music alive. Rodrigo Souza, CBTV.
What's up, Cypress Bay? I'm Bianca Jaramillo, and on this episode of Teen Cuisine, I'll be showing you guys how to make an easy snickerdoodle mug cake perfect for the fall season. For this recipe, you'll need a 4th cup of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a 4th teaspoon of baking powder, a half teaspoon of vanilla extract, a 1/4 cup of milk, a half teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 1.5 tablespoons of butter melted down. First, mix together your flour, brown sugar, baking powder, and half of the cinnamon in a microwavable safe mug. Then add in your melted butter, milk, and vanilla and stir until there are no lumps. Next, mix together your sugar and other portion of cinnamon and sprinkle that on top of your cake batter. Stick it in the microwave for a minute to a minute and a half, and when it's done, let it cool for about 2 minutes and dig in. That's how you make an easy snickerdoodle mug cake. That's all for this episode of Teen Cuisine. I'm Bianca Jaramillo, CBTV.
Hey, I'm Oliver. Now, time is finite, precious, and something you can't change.
Or can you?
Now, let's say you can travel through time. If you're not careful, you could wind up in what is known as a time paradox. But what exactly is a time paradox? Let's say you traveled back in time to before your grandfather met your grandmother and killed him. Kind of rude if you asked me, but logically speaking, you would never have been born. But if you were never born, how would you have killed him in the first place? That brings up the question, Would you have created an alternate reality? Now, scientists have proposed the question that our reality is only one out of an infinite number, where every possible combination of events has occurred, such as one where I never even made this video, or one that I did, but something is off. Where did that guy go? Weird. But whatever. Hey, I'm Oliver.
I have a housemate who is addicted to impersonating actors. I don't even know if it's an impersonation. You know, I'm somewhat of a scientist myself. Steve just takes quotes and says them at random. What's the deal with airline food? Well, a Big Mac's a Big Mac, but they call it the Big Mac. A lot of the times, it doesn't even make sense. Hello?
My name's Jeff.
Dude, that's so old. First you get the money, then you get the power. Dude, I will fight. Honestly, this addiction's been going on for a while, and I just wish you would do something to stop. Samuel L. Jackson.
What's up, Cypress Bay? Today, I'm here with 3 of my friends to play a fun little game called Scribblio. It's a lot like Pictionary, so basically, one person has to pick a word, draw it, and then the rest of the group has to guess what they're trying to say. Let's get started.
Okay, so let's say you have a little jar, right? And then you rub it, right? You go like, right? And then this blue boy just comes out of there, and he's just like, "Hey yo, what's up?" You rub the thing, and it get.
Oh!
Alright, you know what? Speed mode. And then we got the front end. We got the front end here, right? And then we go. But it's the man inside.
God, that drawing's so bad.
It's so good, is what you mean to say.
So this is just a non-local. He went to the beach, it was nice outside, and then boom!
Bro, me and Issa. Look at Issa right now.
Are you ready? Are you ready? You know what this is. You know what this is.
Bad drawing?
Yeah. Check it out, bro. We got a nice little seat over there.
I can't spell. I can't. Shoot. I wrote bicycle.
All right, everyone. Looks like me and my friends aren't the best artists. I'm Isabella Chiappini, CBTV.
Cypress Bay has finally reopened its doors for those interested in e-learning on site.
Currently, only a few students have returned, so Eric got insight from those on campus.
Due to COVID-19, students have had to take classes online, but until recently, schools allowed the students the option to return in person. This has brought certain changes to the way classes are handled in order to keep conditions as safe as they can be because of the coronavirus. Mr. Andrews, a teacher at Cypress Bay, helps explain how these changes are affecting students and teachers, how different things are now, and how he thinks it will be in the future.
Well, the biggest change is I have to, as a teacher, I have to remember, now I have to deal with students coming in and out of the classroom. I have to think about those things. I have to think about the, students wiping down the student desks, all the things that go with the, the COVID situation. But, in the end, we're all trying to be careful. So, and the students have been good, right? They've been helpful. They're the ones, they come up and they're wiping down their own desks, for example. At the end, I usually, kind of as I end class, they get a wipe and they wipe down the tops of the desks and the bars and the seats and those kind of things. So they've been great. I don't think this is forever. I mean, I've been a history teacher for many, many years. I teach Gov and Econ now, but as a U.S. history teacher, I can tell you, like, if one of the things I went back and looked at was the one thing we can relate to is the Spanish flu pandemic of 100 years ago. And I just read an article on that about what happened to that. And eventually, we will get through this just based on that.
Even though not many people have gone back, it still slightly changes the dynamic of the classroom for those who have. It seems that the students and teachers who decided to go back are managing to make the best of the situation and are keeping each other safe. Hopefully, this plan goes well, so all students can be welcomed back on campus soon. I'm Eric Marone, CBTV.
What's up, Cypress Bay? I'm Logan Sillig, and the coronavirus has got everybody asking a lot of questions. Like, when will quarantine be over, and when will a vaccine come out? Well, I'm here to tell you, I have no idea. But what I do know is the coronavirus isn't the only virus out there. The flu season is just around the corner, and it's your responsibility to go out and get vaccinated.
Oh yeah? And what if I don't?
Well, if you don't get vaccinated, you're putting yourself and others at risk. And you might end up like that guy. So go out and get vaccinated. Just make sure you're following the proper safety guidelines when you get the vaccine so that you're not putting yourself or others at risk. Logan Seelig, CBTV.
During Apple's latest keynote event, they unveiled the brand new iPhone 12. And sure, we can go all day about how it's the greatest iPhone ever, and oh look, Mac. But there's one key thing that is now missing from the latest device.
There are also over 2 billion Apple Power adapters out in the world, so we are removing these items from the iPhone box.
What? No charger? But then how will I charge my phone?
They claim they're doing this to help the environment. With 2 billion power bricks already out there in the world, why would they need to include a charger? Now look, I'm all about saving the environment, but the charging cable included in the box doesn't even fit any of the power bricks that came before it. So you're not doing anything. Apple is basically doing the same thing they did during 2017 with the headphone jack. Create a problem for the consumer and offer them a solution. So, are they really just doing this all for the money?
There is one more thing that Apple mentioned during its keynote. One that is more important than getting rid of e-waste.
Removing these items also means a smaller, lighter iPhone box. We can fit up to 70% more products on a shipping pallet. Taken all together, the changes we've made for iPhone 12 cut over 2 million metric tons of carbon emissions annually.
So then when you get your new iPhone 12, you'll actually be getting a box about this big. The implications of this may seem small at first, but over a couple of years, this could make a massive change to our environment. While we may think of Apple as being the greedy big bad in this situation, I think this might prove as an important stepping stone for the whole tech industry in general. Apple is always a big innovator to the companies around it, and if they can start making a difference today, it could make a massive one for the tech companies of the future.
Ever had a time after school when your brain doesn't want to do anything? Today, I'll introduce 3 tips to help you combat procrastination and stay productive. When we are tempted to do so, usually, it means we are bored or frustrated. Sometimes all it takes is a little motivation, so try getting something started to get your brain running. This will trigger our minds to continue. List your chores or assignments in an organized bullet list. This helps us develop the habit of being mindful of our daily operations and helps us stay focused. If your phone or laptop gets too distracting, become familiar with your device to manage the addiction to notifications or other factors. Disconnecting from social media for a while will help your mind. Keep the good grades going, and good luck. Dean Milan, CBTV.
Here's Sebastian with this week's sports.
What's up, Cypress Bay? I know we all miss college football since it was ended earlier on in the year in March because of COVID-19, of course. But could we see a college football comeback? Here is Max with the update.
What's going on, guys? Last week in college football was absolutely insane. There were a lot of upsets and some highly anticipated games. Let's dive into them. Now let's talk about the biggest upset of the week. Number 2 Alabama Crimson Tide versus the number 3 Georgia Bulldogs at home. This game was close in the beginning. Georgia was only up by 4 points by the end of the first half, although during the second half they were shut out by the Alabama Crimson Tide, where they scored 0 points the whole entire rest of the game, while Alabama was able to score 21 more points, where they were able to secure the win, winning the game 41-24. Now let's talk about the biggest upset of the week. Number 5 UNC versus the unranked Florida State Seminoles. Unlike the other game, Florida State was able to come out strong and create a massive gap after the first half, scoring a total of 31 points. Although this game became very close at the end, where UNC was only down by 3 points and they decided to go for the extra yards rather than the long distance field goal to increase their chances. Unfortunately, they failed and the ball was turned over on downs, resulting in a Seminole win 31-28. Well, that's all for this college football update. I'm Maxwell Freed, CBTV.
I don't know about you guys, but sports and music don't really mix in my head. But Sabrina's here to put it to the test as she asks band students some sports questions.
Football's the one sport that I don't pay attention to.
How many points is a touchdown?
6. 3.
Oh God.
300,000.
6, but 7 if they make the field goal.
Like 15 or 20. Okay, well, I'll just go myself.
What does a quarterback do?
Person who receives the ball from the center and then throws it or hands it off to the runner.
You ever heard of the band Nickelback? So, look at this photograph.
Usually they're like the leader and they call out they make usually like all the plays or something like
They're the person that like
Well, that's all for this week's Lightning Athletics. I'm Sebastian Fish-Matherin, CBTV Sports.
That's all for this episode of Aftershock.
If you want to watch our previous episodes, check out our YouTube channel at Cypress Bay CBTV, and make sure to follow all of our social medias.
I'm Kimberly Blum.
And I'm Michael Orlando. Thanks for watching.